This set is just fun. It's on a grander scale, it's 9 feet tall, a little more than 11 feet deep, and a little more than 13 feet wide. It's just a total blast for the kids.
Hanging upside down the entire time. Yes!
But the best thing is just how much fun they get out of it for your investment. You can build this whole thing for about $480, and I can tell you where to get the best parts at the best prices. And you can build the set in about 3 hours time realistically, plus time of going to the store to get the things you need. But I can help you with that by identifying what you need and telling you where you might get those things. Today I'm going to take you through the easy steps of building this beautiful spider swing set. Okay, so here's the hardware we'll be using. We have two 3/8 inch by 4.5 inch carriage bolts. We've got 8 3/8 inch by 7 inch hex bolts. We've got 1/2 inch washers. We have 18 of them. We have 3/8 inch washers, and we have 18 of those. And we also have 18 of the 3/8 inch lock nuts. Then we need 32 of these 2 7/8 inch headlocks. It comes in a box of 50. And then our brackets. So let me talk a little bit about the brackets. The bracket is just the number one most crucial piece of the whole swing set. It's what determines whether your swing set will be stable, firm, and the legs not lifting when they're swinging, or whether it'll be wobbly and shaky and the legs lifting when they're swinging. Nobody likes the feel of the legs coming up when they're swinging high on a play set. This is a bracket that you'd be really tempted to go with because when you search online, it's what you'll find and about all you'll find. It's everywhere. It's what lots of people are using, but I don't know why. So let me tell you what's wrong with it. First of all, it has a really narrow angle here between the legs. That means it's a really narrow stanced play set, and it's guaranteed, I know because I've tried these brackets, the set will lift with even small to medium kids swinging even moderately high on the set. The legs will start lifting. Our brackets have a very wide angle compared to that on the legs to give you a much wider stance so that it won't want to lift when kids are swinging high on the set. And that's just something that just completely changes the feel of the play set. Some other issues on it. This one bolts on to the 4x6, so it gets a real snug fit onto the 4x6. This one, the 4x6 slips in there, and it's freer to wobble around. Same thing with the legs. The 4x4s can wobble around inside here. These ones clamp onto it better and hold them much stronger. You'll notice that in the design of my set, I don't even have a cross beam on the A-frame legs like you see on many play sets that help stabilize the legs. With this bracket here, you don't need it. It holds the set nice and stable and solid. You'll notice that the metal's thinner on this. It's quite thick, quite a bit thicker on this one. When you go to put screws or bolts in, you'll feel that the metal it's thin and it sinks in as it goes against the legs. You don't feel you get a solid fit. This one here, you won't feel that. So please go with the better brackets. Not only will the set come out just much more strong and stable, but they're just so much easier to work with for you. Okay, so when you pick out your lumber, it's the 12-foot 4x6 that's your beam for the set that you want to be a little bit picky on. You don't want to get one with a big loose knot like this that'll just weaken the beam. You also don't want any big splits, and you don't want any big cracks. All of them are going to have some knots in them, but some tighter knots like this is fine, and it won't take away from the strength of the beam at all. Just to avoid these big, loose ones. If you decide to treat the feet of the legs with a copper green wood preservative, you want the one that's in the brown container because it's a brown color instead of the original green color. And you'll find it in the paint section where the stains are. So when you go to paint your lumber, I personally prefer this Behr. It's a premium exterior semi-transparent stain This is the cappuccino color, which is my favorite of the ones that I've tried, but you can use any exterior stain. I like also using a small tray. This is made for your 3 and 4 inch rollers. And this holds a smaller amount of paint, so you don't need to buy a whole gallon of stain. You can paint your 4 4x4s and your 1 4x6 with just 1 quart of paint. And this is really easy to do this just with the roller here. Just get the roller started here. And then you just roll it out, just like that, and brush it out. And that's all there is to it. Now on one end of the legs, you want to not paint them. You want to come up about 2 inches from the end of the leg on this end. And that's because this end is going to end up getting soaked in the wood preservative overnight, and we want it to be able to soak up all the wood preservative. So that's all there is to it. You use a roller, you just roll down and brush it out, and it's real easy. So when you're done, you'll end up with the 4x6 beam painted completely, and then these 4 4x4s painted completely except for the ends, where you've left 2 inches bare on all the ends. And now we'll treat the 4 4x4s, and we'll treat it overnight. So you'll want to remember that you'll want to paint and treat the 4 4x4s the day before you want to assemble your swing set. You pour in again about half a container. Then you grab your 4x4s and you just ease them on down in. Don't make any splashes and they'll come out a little nicer. And you will see it immediately starts to soak up the copper green wood preservative. And by tomorrow it'll be all the way up to the paint. And here's all 4 soaking away. And again, you just let them soak overnight. Again, this container is from Dollar Tree. It's just an 8-inch plastic container, a good size for this. And again, the copper green wood preservative. Pick the brown color that they have of it so that it'll match better the stain color instead of the original green color. And just stand them up against the wall. Okay, so here's your lumber. And you'll see how the wood preservative soaked up to where the paint was. I might add that if your wood's really dry, you might only need to soak it in the wood preservative for about 4 hours. If it's greener, wetter, like it usually comes from the store, you may need to go overnight. Okay, so let's build this beauty. First off, grab a pair. Make sure you have a pair that go together. See how this has this angle. The legs come out at a slight angle. You want this pair that come out at the same angle. And then take one of them, put it flush to the end. Take your drill. Just a 3/8 inch drill bit. And just start it a little bit. And you can remove this so you don't ruin your drill bit. And then just keep it nice and straight. And go in halfway. All right, then flip her over. Let's see, remember which way we're going. Put this one on flush. And same thing. And then go through till you reach the other side. And then all you do is take your carriage bolt, drop it in through it's got a square hole there. Put it on. Grab the other side. Put the bolt coming through. Then get a 1/2 inch washer and a 3/8 on top of it and drop that. So we're going to drop these on top of the bolt here. And then we get a lock nut and start it by hand. Just to make sure it's threading. And then just tighten it. This is a 9/16 inch socket. Doesn't have to be one of these long ones. It can be just a regular size. And then I like to finish them up with a hand wrench so I can tell just how tight I got it. And then we just drive some screws through the bracket into the beam. I like using these headlocks even though they don't sit completely flush with the bracket. They're just a strong fastener and real easy to work with. At the bottom of the box you'll find a little tool for driving them in. And they're easy to do. You just hold it straight, put them in there. We just turn it over and do this side. Okay, so both ends of brackets have been bolted on and screwed on from both sides. And let me just say one thing. When you bring home the 4x6 from the lumber store, it's usually quite green or it's got a lot of moisture in it. And it may be a tight fit, these brackets fitting over it. They'll usually barely fit over it. If they're a little snug, you can get a rubber mallet and maybe put some plastic or something over it so you don't mar your finish here, and just pound it on, and usually always they'll go on that way. Or you can let your beam sit out for just a couple of days and it'll dry enough in just a couple of days to shrink. Okay, let's put the 4x4 legs on the brackets. Remember that the treated end, the ones that have the wood preservative, goes against the ground, so it's on the other end of these 4x4s. When you go to stick them in here, if it's too snug, which it can be if your wood's still kind of green from the store, then what you can do is these go in 4 3/4 inches into the bracket. So you can measure 4 3/4 inches, and then with either a rasp or a wood file, you can knock the edge off the corners on all 4 corners here, and it'll end up going in. If it's not too tight, you can get them going in. You start them, and you can work, well, sometimes you have to work them in like this, but you just put her in there. And before you put the screws in, have a helper just hold the board completely straight with the bracket. And then after you've attached all 4 legs with the screws, you'll be ready to stand the structure upright. You'll need 4 people to do this. And basically all 4 will get on the beam side and lift it up to about waist height. And then with one person moving to each leg, you just ease it on over. Okay, there she is. So let's put the fun stuff on now. All right, now we're gonna hang the swing hangers. These are them. And they're gonna go right here. And to do that, you just measure in 18 inches from the end of the beam. Mark it. Get your 3/8 inch drill bit. You can see I've just recently drilled this. And drill straight up through. And then get your hanger and hold it over the hole there to mark where your next one will go. And you would just then mark it. You can see I've just drilled this one too. And then you drill up there. And you have your first set of holes for your first hanger. All right, and then to hang the hangers, we take one of these 7" by 3/8 hex bolts, put a small 3/8 washer on it and a larger 1/2" washer on it. Go through the top hole. And then hanger and a big washer and a small washer and a hex bolt. Or I'm sorry, a lock nut. And then just tighten it up with 2 wrenches. Now the hangers for each swing are 20 inches apart. So all you got to do is measure from your first hole you drilled, 20 inches over, mark it, and drill there. And then after you drill it, hold a hanger up to it to mark this, so you can mark this one and drill it and attach it, and you'll have the hangers 20 inches apart. Okay, the spider swing. So why this spider swing? Well, there's a bunch of reasons. First of all, this one comes already assembled. All the rest, you've got to put them together. And that's maybe a little more hassle than you want. This one comes already assembled, which just makes it a lot easier. Then it's got the thickest rope around, which kids like for hanging on to. It feels a lot better in your hands than a thin rope in your hands. Then on the bottom, it's got these safety nuts. Some of them, after you assemble them, just have a bolt sticking out, which will cut anybody's forehead. And then it's a 40-inch spider swing, and when you measure most of the 40-inch spider swings that you get online, they're closer to 36. And this one is 39. So the closest you can get to a 40. So it's big, it's stronger, it's just well made, and it's a lot safer. So let's go ahead and hang this. Again, there's more than one way to wrap these tree straps around the beam. I like this way because it's mainly going to give me the height I want for the spider swing. The spider swing's adjustable, but I like it to be adjusted almost all the way out the way the spider swing ships. So it's got the longest hang on the rope that it comes with. To me, it works better that way. And to do that, I need this about this height. So to wrap these strings around, straps this way, I just get two buckles together, a loop around the back side, and put it through, and do that. Except I want these two buckles to end up being together. And then I'll do my carabiner that these tree straps come with around here to strap on the spider swing. And what you want to do is you'll want to find the exact center of the beam here, and I like to hang them 30 inches apart. So find the exact center and put one of these 15 inches to one side of center and the other one 15 inches to one side of center. And then for hanging the swings, the hangers come with carabiners in the boxes. Just hang the carabiner, and then this is the swing. Just hang the swing, comes with this loop, hang it on the carabiner, and then tighten this. So if you're wondering why I went with tree straps to hang the spider swing, I could have gone with just the ordinary swing hangers like we use for the swings. You see that the ropes on the spider swing aren't tall enough to reach up to the top beam, just because the set is so big, it's 9 feet tall. So we could have spanned that gap with some short pieces of chain and some other carabiners. The tree straps are not only just easier to work with, easier to adjust, but a nice thing about them is you can also, with the tree straps, you can adjust the separation distance between the two straps, and that'll change the action on the spider swing. You'll find that when you move the tree straps closer together up on the beam, the spider swing will tilt more as it goes to the sides or in a circle, and a lot of riders like that. So the tree straps are not only just a real easy solution, but they're great for setting up the spider swing just the way you like it. And there it is, a beautiful set, easy to build. Where are the kids?